right, so I'm Jerry, and I'm with
Morton Haugaard. I'm the global brand manager on all things 40K here at THQ.
Awesome. So that means you've worked probably with Dawn of War 2, and Space Marine,
And Kill Team also. Yeah.
and Kill Team as well.
Yes.
So you literally have hit all of the IP.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm the 40K
Guru.
god. Here at THQ.
So IP for the IP god.
Pretty much, yes.
Awesome. So what has been your most fun thing working with Space Marine so far?
It's been a couple things, right? I love going to the conventions and talking to guys and seeing their reaction to the game, right? Seeing, how they light up when they see a Space Marine. We actually had, Alan Merritt at the Games Day up in Chicago. He saw the chainsword we had. His eyes lit up really big. Just seeing that enjoyment that people get from seeing, the universe brought to life, either in video game format or some of the other great, replica stuff we've pulled together.
Well, I do love the fact, speaking as the IP person, the different homages that you've done to previous IP in Space Marine and in some of the other titles. For instance, I don't know if a lot of people know, but in Dawn of War 2, in Chaos Rising, one of the achievements you could get was for basically kicking it old school when you did the 4 Terminator armors on the Space Hulk.
Yep.
How many kinds of things like that can we expect to see in Space Marine?
I mean, so you'll see an old friend from another game will make an appearance, right? You'll get to see another... how to say this? Basically, some old friends from another game will make an appearance.
Excellent.
I mean, the guys at Relic are really great at trying to bring in those references, right? So another example from Dawn of War Retribution is when you put your Lord General, or was it the Inquisitor?
The Commissar in the Bane Blade.
In the Bane Blade, drive me closer, I want to hit them with my sword, right? So the guys at Relic are great at pulling in those references. So there are a couple of those that you'll get to see in the game, and we hope you have a good, chuckle and enjoyment out of them.
What led, now are you primarily with Relic, or are you with Games Workshop, or are you with THQ?
I'm with THQ, but
Okay.
we've got I've been working with the guys at Relic for close to 5 years now, and then we've got a great relationship with Games Workshop where, we bounce ideas back and forth with them.
Excellent. So I take it then because of, even though it's a third-person shooter, that Games Workshop was thrilled with the previous work that they had done on Dawn of War enough to try a third-person title with Relic?
Yeah, so I mean, the guys at Relic and the Dawn of War team had done a great job of bringing that universe to life for the PC RTS gamer. Space Marine is our chance to bring this great 25-plus year franchise or, universe to life for those console gamers. The guys who have seen Space Marines, but they've never actually seen the original Space Marine, the original badass, right? The original chainsword and how awesome it is.
I was about to say, there have been a lot of games that have played homage to Space Marine. I mean, obviously the one that's Space Marine's been compared to the most is Gears of War 3, and from what I've seen so far, this is absolutely the only thing you can say about them both really is that they're both third-person shooters. Is there anything that you've seen that, I mean, besides the fact that they're third-person shooters, what sets Space Marine apart from its copycat, but also at the same time
other games
homage?
in the genre, right? So, I mean, our Space Marine, you've seen him, Titus, Commander Titus, or Captain Titus, is festoon. He's brightly colored, right? He's got blue armor, gold trim. You're not going to miss him on the battlefield. This is not a guy that hides behind a wall and fires over it, right? This is a guy that runs into the thick of combat. And so where we feel we're different than other games is that sense of momentum and moving you forward, but also the fact that at any moment you can pull out your chainsword and start hacking people up, right? So, when you're shooting, you'll have that standard third-person, view that you're used to, but then if you tap your X button or your square button on the PS3, you're going to pull out your chainsword or whatever melee weapon you've got. The camera's going to pull back, you're going to see more of the battlefield, and you're going to be able to just get up in people's faces and wreck them with whatever melee weapon you've got. So it's that interplay between ranged and melee combat that we feel is what separates us from you know, a Gears or another third-person shooter, and you know what we're trying to do with Space Marine.
Now, how hard was it from a lore perspective trying to integrate multiplayer? I know that when Space Marine was first announced, people wondered if there was even going to be multiplayer at all. How difficult was that kind of integrating that in and getting that kind of true to the universe feel?
I mean, I think it was getting that balance right. It was tough, but I think we've got a pretty solid and robust multiplayer. You know, Space Marines versus Chaos Space Marines, 8v8. We've got 3 separate classes that you can play as. We've got your standard Tactical Marine or Chaos Space Marine. We've got your Devastator Marine or your Havoc on the Chaos side. So they get all the great heavy weapons like the Plasma Cannon or the Las Cannon or the Heavy Bolter. And then we've got the awesome, my favorite, the Assault Marine or the Raptor on the Chaos side. You know, these are the guys that get all the great melee weapons. You know, Thunder Hammers or Demon Mauls on the Chaos side. You know, chain axes, power swords, power axes. They get to get up in people's faces and just wreck stuff and be able to quickly jump around the map with their jump packs. It's
Yeah, I love the assault packs. One of my favorite squads in Dawn of War actually is the assault squad because they can go anywhere.
Yeah.
And they have enough versatility with upgrades to kind of be in any kind of role. And that's something that really hasn't been touched on a lot, and I don't know how much you can touch on, but I know that there's a perk system. Now, again, with the lore, I guess it's, how did you guys integrate kind of a perk system? Is it considered like learnings from battle, or is it...
Well, I mean, even in the game, the tabletop game itself, you have different upgrades you can give to guys, right? So one of the perks is a Kraken Bolt, right? Ammunition. So if you're wielding a bolter, you can get Kraken Bolt. You know, and as you progress through the game and you unlock this perk, you can get Kraken Bolts, which will do more damage, higher rate of fire, right? So trying to figure out what in the lore and the universe we can do to, you know, make these perks. So, you know, it was a bit of a challenge, but there is a lot of room in the universe to come up with those ideas, right?
What lore, I guess, so far as your favorite piece of lore that you were able to integrate into the game? What set it apart more than anything else?
I love the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Forge World, you know, the Servitors, the Servo Skulls. You know, I've got a Imperial Guard army myself that I've sort of themed using green stuff and bit swaps as Adeptus Mechanicus. So
Awesome.
It was great to see, you know, what Relic had done with just bringing the epic environments and then seeing the Titans brought to life. The fans are going to be happy with the scale of them.
Why did you guys pick a Warlord class Titan instead of some of the other classes?
It just worked with what they were trying to do with the planet, and it looks awesome, right?
Oh, I don't disagree. My favorite, honestly, personally, I have a couple graphic novels that Dan Abnett did. Mm-hmm. The Titan, the 2 that I've seen so far. That's how I knew it was a Warlord class. And yeah, I think you guys probably picked one of the badassier Titans to go with.
I mean, they're all amazing, right? But the Warlord does just look really cool.
My major question, this is something that a lot of the Adeptus Mechanicus fans have been asking about. Why is it that we never really, or at least in what I've seen so far, never really encounter any servants of the Omnissiah? We don't really ever see any of the Skitarii, any of these... We see the Servo Skulls, obviously, and probably some Servitors, but we don't really see any of the Adeptus Mechanicus themselves. What was the thought behind that?
So as you play through the game, you're going to find, you know, bits of recorded Vox comms between different members of the Adeptus Mechanicus and people on the planet. You know, when the story's set, the orcs have been on the planet for a bit. You see them entrenched, right? And so, you know, the Adeptus Mechanicus has done their duty and tried to defend this planet, but, you know, the orc swarm has just overrun them, right? So that's why the Space Marines are brought in to try to clear out the orcs and keep the Titans, which are, you know, still under Imperium control, but, you know, the orcs are moving their way towards them to take them over and turn them into Stampas and all the other great things the orcs will do with that equipment, right?
Honestly, the one thing I was hoping is that we would see a Tech Marine in the squad. Is there talk of adding in, I guess, extended bits of single player with more of that, I don't want to say fluff, but is there? I know that there is a robust DLC plan in place. I don't know how much you can talk about, obviously, but are there going to be any new bits of lore included, or is it going to be more of just continuing what's already been put in place?
I mean, it really depends on, you know, what relic can work within the system, right? So, I mean, we're looking at new things for multiplayer, right? So maybe there are some options there. You know, we have added new bits to the lore in terms of like the Gaia Pattern Vengeance Launcher. It's one of the new weapons that Relic has actually created. It's a weapon that was being made on this Forge world, you know, through an old
STL.
STL or STC, right?
Standard template. It's standard template library and standard template construct.
Yes, STC, right? So, you know, one of the old patterns that they actually have the capability to manufacture, it's a, you know, sticky bomb launcher / timed explosive. You can fire off a couple bombs, set up great ambushes in multiplayer through corridors. You know, the Chaos guy will come unsuspecting into that corridor and you can detonate them all. So we have added some new stuff into the lore. It's just figuring out what makes sense and what the guys at Relic can actually seamlessly integrate and make a cool story out of.
What was the one thing that you wanted to see in that hasn't had a chance to be put in yet? Is there anything that, like I said, with the Adeptus, seeing more of the Adeptus Mechanicus, was there anything in particular you've wanted to see but hasn't been able to be put in yet?
I don't know. I'll have to give that one a think. And I don't know. As a Grey Knights player, it would have been great to see some Grey Knights or even Black Templars, you know, come in and just wreck shit. But I think Relic's done a great job of pretty much covering, you know, the bases in terms of, you know, the weapons and the stuff you would expect in a game. So we'll see what they end up coming up with for DLC and farther down the road. That's
awesome. Well, I've taken up quite a few minutes of your time. Is there anything else you'd like to kind of add or say so far that I haven't really touched on that you really want people to know about?
Yeah, we're really just excited about getting the game into your hands. We've been working on it for a while here. The guys at Relic have been hard at work, and we really want to, you know, release it to you guys. Game's coming out September 6th. You know, we hope you guys enjoy it as much as we've enjoyed working on it.
Well, thank you very much, and may the Omnissiah watch over us all.
For the Emperor.
For the Emperor.